It's almost October, which means it is almost time for ghost stories. This is going back about 15 years ago. I was dating a young lady, and she was going to come over for the weekend to my apartment. We were going to make dinner or go out. I'm not sure what we were going to do. But she had called me up and said, look, we're going to need to cancel our dinner date tonight. I'm so sorry, but my sister has to go to work tonight. Her sister's a waitress. Said my sister has to go to work tonight. She got called in. She doesn't have another sitter for her. So I'm going to have to cancel because I have to watch my niece. Well, from me having two kids and I had a 2-bedroom apartment, in other words. So the apartment there was already set up for my kids in the first place. All the stuff the kids would need anyway. So I said to her, listen, Chrissy was her name. I said, Chrissy, if you would want to still come over, that's fine with me. Bring your niece with you. I think she was 6, 5 or 6. Bring your niece with you. And that's what we ended up doing. Now, one of the other things that I want to throw in as a side note to that whole thing was that she had mentioned before that her sister proclaimed that she was a witch. I'm going to say that again. Her sister had proclaimed that she was a witch, and I was like, okay, sister's nuts, but whatever, you're still hot. So, but we're going to call her Catherine for the rest of the story. Morning, I'm an early riser anyway, so this little girl gets up at I don't know, maybe 7 o'clock in the morning. Now, at the time, too, I was in South Florida. Had a pool right outside of the back door, kind of there. So we get up in the morning, her aunt's still sleeping, and she's kind of milling around. And I said, hey, you want a bowl of cereal? I'm used to having kids. My mom, so she wasn't used to doing that. So she was still asleep. But, I mean, it's early in the morning, but Florida, South Florida especially, you can go out in the pool at any time you want. Like, it's always 80 degrees. So I get our towels, get all of our stuff together. It is white. So I don't want to get her burned up because that's not a good way to make my relationship go once I burn up this little girl's niece. I start putting the sunblock on her shoulders. I start putting the sunblock on her nose, on the tips of her ears, just places where you put sunblock on little kids. She turns around to me then at that point, and I'm like tan to death, like leather tan. She turns to me at that point and says in a little kid voice and all that, hey, it's time to put sunblock on you now. I was just about to say to her, like, no, I don't use sunblock. And she says to me, oh, no, you don't use sunblock because you have your mother's skin. I'm going to say that again. She said to me, you don't use sunblock because you have your mother's skin. That might not be weird to you. It's extremely weird to me. The backstory on that is one of the things that I've said. I have 3 brothers younger than me and a sister younger than me. My 3 brothers younger than me all were balding or bald by the time they were 18. I still have a decent amount of hair left on my head. Also, in the summertime, you know how there's certain people that'll tan really well. They'll hold on to the tan and they'll be good to go. Other people burn up, turn red, peel the next day, and then they're white. The whole rest of my family's like that. My mother and I are both like that. So I have had the thing that I've said before a million times. Well, not about a million, but whenever I'm at like family reunions or whatever, and I see my brothers and all that, I say to myself, and I've said, I'm glad I have my mother's skin. That's a saying that I've used in the past before several times, that I have my mother's skin. So this little girl that I've never met before ever says to me, you don't wear sunblock because you have your mother's skin. And I'm kind of caught off guard a little bit by that comment, but it didn't really do anything to me. And I said, well, yeah, you know what? You're exactly right. That is why. Do you ever hear me saying that to Aunt Chrissy? And the girl says, no, I saw you thinking it. I saw you thinking it. I, your mother's skin. You just you just randomly threw out, no, you don't do that because you don't put sunblock on because you have your mother's skin. A girl I've never met before ever in my life. That little girl has an ability. I don't know where she's at now or where she went, or I don't know. I honestly have no idea. But there's no way in hell that little girl would know that story, that backline, and just throw that out there. It's absolutely impossible. Like I said, it's one of those things. It's not like a ghost story where, it could have been this or that shadow could have been that. Like, this shit was what it was. There's no way around it. No way around what that whole thing was. And it feels good to get it out there. People, there are abilities. I don't have them, but there's abilities that humans have that we do not know about. And I would have told you that was utter bullshit before I ran into that little girl. But dude, I can't argue with the facts of life. And I hope that's hey, Mr. Oliver. Here, that's one my Halloween cat. Make their meow meow. And that's my Halloween story. If anyone has anything they want to share, anything paranormal, anything that happened like that, it's just amazing. It's the only thing in my entire life that I have ever, honestly, just had no idea how that happened or why. And there's abilities that people have we don't know about. So that wasn't a ghost story, but it was something freaky and to blow your mind. Again, please leave some comments on there. Dude, I don't have a subscriber in the world right now. Bring me up. This is my breakout moment. Me and Mr. Meow Meow. But hey, everyone out there, happy Halloween. I don't know. Do what you do. Keep safe out there, and I'll talk to you some other time. Bye, folks.